Sup, everybody? This is Josh.
I'm Luke, DC Luke to be exact.
And it is Tut of Super Friends as well.
All right, so this is the movie podcast. The current name we're going with is Flicks and Chill. I didn't make it up. It's bound to change, so please suggest names in the comments below.
But I like it.
Please suggest
The
something.
chill and the flicks. Come on, man.
Yeah. But anyways, this is the first episode. We've been trying to get this off the ground, actually, for quite some time. And, we're hoping this does well, and we'll find out. It's kind of like the pilot episode. Well, we'll see how this does within the week before we move on to further episodes, so to speak. So this one, we're going to talk about Jungle Book and other Disney / like Tarzan, for example. It's not Disney necessarily only, but, it was largely popularized by Disney. So we're going to talk about movies like that and other animated movies that we think would benefit maybe from like a live-action CGI adaptation similar to what they did with Jungle Book. So the new Jungle Book has been a huge critical hit and commercial hit. I know I've seen it. I know Luke just saw it.
Yep.
McKinley or Tut hasn't seen it yet. So, yeah. Really quick, I'm going to ask, I guess, Luke, your thoughts on it. And then Tut, I'm going to ask, kind of what you're hoping is in it. Since you haven't seen it yet, so you kind of can have that point of view of someone who's that hasn't seen it, obviously. So, Luke, you just came out of seeing it. What did you think?
How best? Okay, so it's good, obviously. A lot of people were like raving about it and saying it was like one of the best things Disney's done. Well, probably not that far, but they were raving about it. I just think it's good. It's about the same level of excitement I got from the original one. Although I do like this more than the original cartoon.
Okay. Yeah, I liked it more than the cartoon too. I thought they wrapped it up more like cleaner than the cartoon did. That makes sense. We're not gonna spoil anything in here. I feel like we can say minor plot things, but like obviously we can't say how the movie ended necessarily.
Yeah, well, spoiling it's hard because like if you've seen the original cartoon, you've seen this movie pretty much.
Yeah, exactly. I feel the same way actually. I felt like it was like 90% the cartoon, and the rest of it was like kind of like from the book. Like one of the things I really liked from it was they explained more the Peace Rock, which is something they didn't really go into in the anime movie, at least.
Yeah.
So I liked how they went more into that. They gave it more of a background. So when you saw it and all the animals were there, it had more context.
Yeah, like the Peace Rock itself is basic. Well, again, it was like they just all gathered to it, and there's just no hunting, nothing like that. And they just kind of delved more into the law of the jungle, which like the cartoon, I haven't seen it in so long, but from what I remember, they just mention it, but it's like just in the background. It's not really like a main thing. But in this, they really pushed it.
So the bare necessities are in this film, is what I'm hearing.
In fact, the bare necessities it is in this film, exactly. Yeah.
Awesome.
I thought Bill Murray nailed it. Honestly, the Christopher Walken when he was as King Louis singing like I want to be like you. That was as you would expect. From Christopher Walken. So, there was that. But,
yeah.
all in all, I thought it was cool. I thought it was cool how they... I was telling someone this earlier. If anyone's familiar with, like, SNL and everything, Christopher Walken made a viral SNL video, and they're, like, in a recording studio, and then he says, we need more cowbells, or it needs more cowbells, something like that. Yeah. And, like, Asher Roth used that, like, he sampled that in a song and stuff like that. And I thought it was funny that Mowgli... Someone pointed this out to me later. Mowgli... used a cowbell to summon King Louis. So I thought that was hilarious. I thought that was a nice callback, if that's what Jon Favreau was intending.
Yeah.
But man, oh man,
it's good. It's very good.
It was good. I thought the voice acting was on point. Which it sucks that this movie was so good because now it makes me look forward to the WB Jungle Book less.
Yeah, well, okay, this one is definitely more based on the Disney one, and of course it's going to have a little bit more heart. People are going to be a little more caring and likable. From what I remember from the book, it's okay, just first and foremost, the book has a lot of racist undertones. I don't know if the WB one's going to go that route, but if they're basing it more on the book, the themes are probably going to be a little different from this one. This one is more just oh, Mowgli, just be yourself. Like, that's basically what it was. And I don't know if the WB is going to go a different route with it, but you mentioned the voice acting, and I mostly agree. I like everyone. I think the only person, and it's not really a big gripe, I liked him, but Bill Murray's Baloo, I think it's because his mannerisms are a little more modern than everyone else, and it's just, it's Bill Murray that everyone else I kind of got absorbed into them, but I just knew every time he spoke, like, oh, it's just Bill Murray being a bear.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was I thought he did a really good job. I don't know if they did mocap or not for this. I know the WB one that comes out like in 2 years, that they oddly enough changed the title to just Jungle Book now instead of Jungle Book Origins. I know that one they used mocap for, which, I mean, I'm excited for both of them, really. It just sucks this one was so good, because now I really, like, I'm kind of still, like, I don't know why they decided to make one when Disney's already making one, but, I mean, I'm not a studio executive, so, I mean, I don't know how they're thinking. I just don't think it's gonna.
I think the second one was a big reason that it's being made is because of Andy Serkis. Like, it was like one of the projects that he has been wanting to make, and I think he just picked a bad time, and then they picked the wrong time to accept it.
I mean, I would have rather Andy Serkis, because, I mean, he's obviously been building a repertoire with Marvel, who's owned by Disney, and obviously Jon Favreau is very close with Marvel. He's one of their producers and previous directors, and I guess technically previous actors, like that. I mean, I would have figured they would just all work together. You know what I mean? But it is what it is. Yeah. But moving on from that, we have Tarzan coming up soon. Speaking another adaptation, so to speak. What are you guys thinking for this? I mean, Margot Robbie's Jane, Alexander Skarsgård, I think that's how you pronounce it, is Tarzan.
Right. Now,
the dude got jacked up for Tarzan, no doubt.
He looks cool.
What are you guys' expectations? I mean, it's not an origin story from what I've gathered. Like, they might touch upon it, but it seems more like Tarzan after, he met Jane and stuff, and Jane and them are together, and they're kind of going back to the jungle. So
okay, right.
So, Tut, I'm gonna start with you first, since obviously you didn't get much talk time when we were talking about Jungle Book. What are you expecting? What are your fears, hopes?
I don't have any fears. I hope that they stick away from certain books, like, for example, the dark ones that had, like, even though it's not going to have an origin story, but they might hint at it, like stuff like Kerchak killing his family and stuff like that. I mean, they might if they do it right, or like with Clayton actually winning and then him and Jane leaving and getting married. I don't think they're going to go that route, but that'd definitely be pretty dark. But I'm really curious as to seeing how they're going to show him interacting with the apes. I mean, we've seen that in other movies, but besides like the ooh hee ha, like, are they going to have, like, in their scenes they're like speaking English, but then when you see like Jane walking in, they're all like speaking gorilla? Like, how are they going to show their interactions? That's what I'm curious about.
True. All right, Luke, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, speaks volumes to how little I know about Tarzan, because I didn't know any of that shit happened. But is this Disney or WB
This is WB.
Okay. Well, I mean, I don't really have any fears, but I don't really have any, like, huge expectations for Tarzan. Like, again, I know very little about it. I just know it's a dude that lives in the jungle, communicates with gorillas, hot chick comes by, and then he's like, hey, I want to be a fucking man. But like, I mean, I'm definitely excited. I do want to see kind of what we're gonna do now with Tarzan in a new modern era. And like you said, they're going back to the jungle. Seems like a cool idea. So, like, I don't really have any fears, but I mean, again, that's just because I don't really know the source material of Tarzan as well as other people, like Tut, apparently.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't read the books in a long time. The Disney movie, I need to watch it again, because I mean, that's kind of blurry. Even though I know Disney took some liberties, obviously, with their interpretation of Tarzan, just like they did with their interpretation of Jungle Book and their interpretation of like Pocahontas and all their other movies.
Yeah, they're very different interpretation of Pocahontas.
Yeah, they're Pocahontas.
Yeah, we got to bring back Phil Collins, man.
I mean, I'm expecting it to be good, honestly. I'm really looking forward to it. I really hope it's good, and I feel like I've heard it's very, like, a lot closer to the book in a lot of ways than like the previous movies we've gotten of Tarzan in general and other media. So I really hope it's good because I mean that's always a benefit. You know, get people more into the book and stuff. They could read it. You know, read the source material. So I'm looking forward to it. Like I said before, I want it to be good. I really hope. I mean, if the trailers are any indication, I just really hope they don't go too overboard. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get you.
Because it seems like there's like that big like climatic, fight, battle scene, things like that. And I just hope they don't go too far with it and really take us out of it. Because it seems like they can make a really intimate story here, about Tarzan, and they can really explore like who Tarzan is and kind of do like a man versus world kind of thing.
Right.
With it, with like the story and stuff. And I really hope they don't lose themselves in that, because like the Planet of the Apes movies that have come out recently, I think is a really good way of like you have that big scope and you can go that really like you can go really big and lose yourself, but they don't. They keep it restrained, and the execution benefits from that.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Y'all know like the plot synopsis for the Tarzan movie?
Do you have the official synopsis, or do you know what it says?
Well, from what I remember, it's actually going to be quite different. We're gonna like go and dive into the origin a little bit, but it's actually going to be like, let's say you watched Tarzan just now, the animated one.
Yeah.
But instead of him staying in the jungle, he left, and it's pretty much like him living in England, and then he's deciding to go back.
Right.
So we're gonna see how he lived in England or London or whatever.
Right.
And go back to the jungle to get back into that scene.
Yeah.
So that's gonna be an interesting take and look at the character that most of the general audience doesn't know.
Yeah.
Or has thought about.
Wants to go back to the jungle after living in England because England sucks, as any rational monkey man would say.
Oh god.
I miss the dirt and banana.
There's no trees for me to climb on. There's a bunch of goddamn horse-drawn carts.
I am tired of French toast. Wrong continent.
So I feel
Wrong grammar.
I feel like we can like wrap like all of our thoughts about the Tarzan movie together. I think we can say that basically, I mean, we're cautiously optimistic, but we're more optimistic than cautious. That makes sense.
Yeah.
We're like it's intriguing.
Intrigued. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'm just interested.
All right, so moving on to the next one, and for people that are watching this, listening to this, if this does well and like we make future episodes of this, we'll go into more stuff. Like I know CinemaCon happened recently, like film festivals, all that stuff. We'll go into those in future ones, but because this is like a pilot, basically, we're
Let's see if Hybrid never picks it up.
Like we're just gonna kind of cover like more general stuff, which is why we're doing this. We feel like this is a good kind of like beginning point before we get into the more super serious film stuff and things of that nature.
Right.
And we'll probably along the lines, we'll change up, hosts and stuff, maybe get more film people in there that, maybe film majors, things like that. I mean, we'll see where it goes. But moving on. So on the verge of talking about, Tarzan, Jungle Book, what other movies do we think could benefit from like a live action CGI adaptation? And when I say this, to be more specific, I mean movies that have been popularized by like being animated. So my first thought is Iron Giant. I love the Iron Giant. I think it's a great movie. I would love to see it done in a live action format. I feel like the technology around now, you could definitely pull it off. I mean, it'd be expensive, obviously, but I feel like to me at least, it'd be worth it.
Yeah,
that'd be amazing. And then of course, gotta bring back Vin Diesel for the voice. That'd be amazing.
I would love to see them. I mean, to be honest, I would love to see them do like basically just a redo of the animated movie, but make it live action. But honestly, if they just made it like in contemporary times, I wouldn't be mad. Because I feel like the same message would work.
I think so too.
Could. Especially because nukes are still very prevalent in fear in these days. So I mean,
not even
definitely
that.
Could be a thing.
The whole thing about not like judging, ahead of time, things like that. I mean, that definitely.
Yeah, that too.
And also, you could totally work off the whole because instead of it being like a red scare like it was back in the day, now it's just a terrorism scare. So, I mean, there's still that whole scare aspect you can work in there.
Oh yeah,
if anything, terrorism would work a lot better for Iron Giant. If anything else.
that whole mystery aspect of because he looks like a robot. They're like, oh, who built him? When they're not thinking, oh, he's an alien, and then like they find out he's an alien, or they don't, or just like that whole thought process could be pretty interesting as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I would love to make them like see sequels, where they explore like where he came from, who built him, things like that. Because he's obviously looked like he was like an infiltrator kind of unit thing.
I always
Something
wanted a
like
sequel.
that, yeah.
Always wanted it, especially because he lived, man. Superman. I
lived.
always wanted to see that.
It ended on the right point.
Yeah. Well, it's more like one of the actors died, so they just
That's
completely
true.
cut
Okay.
it.
I mean,
Fair
at least
enough.
Vin Diesel's still alive, so they can have Vin Diesel.
Yeah. Oh yeah. All the human people could definitely be replaced.
I feel like if they
Like
did
live
do
action.
this, and I know that I think he's mostly known for animated stuff, but if they did it again, I would like if Brad Bird could come back in some capacity for the live action thing.
Oh, definitely.
Maybe when he's done with Toy Story.
Yeah.
So, I pitched mine. What about you guys? Which movie would you like to see get a live action CGI interpretation?
I thought a lot about it after the question was asked that I got out of Jungle Book. And I threw some stuff around, considering that Pete's dragon is getting something. That's like the bare minimum. So I figured, you know what? Why not just do Lion King? I really do think Lion King would be
You
cool.
want Lion King?
Yeah, like if we use the CGI from Jungle Book, and like just the tale itself is really cool to me because Hamlet's one of my favorite Shakespearean like plays, and it's basically Hamlet. So just bringing that back, bringing this sort of Shakespearean kind of story, having someone cast out and having to return to reclaim everything, make everything right. I don't know. I think Lion King would really actually work very well. Plus, probably be one of the most beautiful things ever made if they improve on some of the stuff in Jungle Book. Because, I mean, Jungle Book looks freaking amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely feel like if they did... I mean, it sounds like what you want, though, is less of a new interpretation and more of just like a kind of a remake, like an HD kind of remake.
I mean,
like a reskinning.
I mean,
Which, I mean, I don't agree with. I mean, I think the movie is perfect the way it is. Like, I don't think it should be touched.
Well, I mean, like that could be said for like a lot of stuff though. Like Lion King.
Lion King though. Like,
well, I know like Lion King is really dear to everybody's heart, but I mean at the same time, like I just think it's a story that could be cool if it comes back. I would take out some of the other stuff, like Timon and Pumbaa probably wouldn't make it in, and I know that's probably
That's
probably blasphemy, but like, look, if we're doing like an actual,
you're butchering Lion King now.
Okay,
Stop.
whatever. If not Lion King, then do Aladdin, whatever. I don't fucking know.
R.I.P. Robin Williams. R.I.P.
They can do someone else. Anyway, Tut, what about you?
Before I gloss on mine, I would like to say it'd be interesting to see Lion King because how would they do that without any live like actual people in it? That'd just be complete animals. Right. So that'd be interesting.
Well, they'd probably do a style more so similar to like Zootopia than they would do to. Because I mean, they probably wanted to still appeal to kids, so if they were to do that, they'd probably do that.
But
like I said
that wouldn't be
before,
live action.
I still don't think they should touch it.
Yeah, that'd be like Pixar, Pixaring it.
Yeah.
But the movie I would love to see being brought into like a live action format, even though it's technically like Treasure Planet. Even though it's actually
Planet?
based on
I'm all for that actually.
Yeah, like cool. It's actually based on an older story that was like a western.
Yeah,
but
Treasure
then Disney
Island.
Treasure yeah. So I would love to see like Treasure Planet, like that sci-fi-esque looking style of that animated movie being brought into live action and exploring different aliens, seeing like stuff like that, and having it more. I don't want to say Star Wars, but like in like that vein, like a mix of Pirates of the Caribbean and Star Wars. Like that'd be pretty cool in live action format. It's not something we've really seen either. Like it'd be something unique.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. That'd be really cool, actually. Now that I think about it, yeah, like that'd be awesome.
All the gold.
I don't remember much about Treasure Planet, so I'll just have to take your word for it.
Yo, man, I just want to see him surf with that flag, that little space skateboard thing he was on in like live action. That'd be legit.
Yeah, I don't know if I would want Treasure Planet touch though. It's very dear to my heart.
Oh.
I'm totally
Bale
making fun of
Jimmy.
Josh, by the way.
So to wrap this up, I think it's only fair because it's Hybrid Network. We just really briefly touch upon the fact that there's a really big movie coming out in like 2 weeks.
Oh,
Captain
yeah.
America: Civil War.
For sure.
What do you guys thinking here? Because you have reviews like, all right, for example, Caboose XPO, who I would very clearly say, and I have no shame saying this, is a huge DC fan, more than a Marvel fan. He said it was the greatest superhero movie he's ever seen. I mean, you can watch his review if you don't believe me that he said that. He said that, and to me, that's a huge statement because I wouldn't expect that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I would expect like a more conservative kind of rating, so to speak, from him. And I mean, we're friends and stuff, so I mean, I feel like I can say that without feeling like he might get offended. Things like that. I mean, he shouldn't be offended by me saying that because I mean, it's the truth. I mean,
the proof.
Like
okay,
he does DC content. I mean, that's his thing. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. Just like Jay does DC content. I mean, they only really review Marvel stuff when it will get them views, so to speak, like a trailer, reaction or something like that. They don't review the comics or anything. So, but moving on,
it's a business.
Yeah,
understandable.
I mean, it's their shtick. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. That's just their style.
Man's gotta eat.
Exactly. So, but moving on though, people were saying this is like the greatest superhero movie ever made, greatest superhero trilogy since the Nolan Batman trilogy. People were saying it's even better because the third movie is so good versus like the second and first. And to explain that, a lot of people don't like Dark Knight Rises compared to the Dark Knight. And a lot of people are saying this is like on par, if not better at times, than the Winter Soldier, even though the Winter Soldier has a more cohesive storyline from what I've been hearing. But yeah, what are you guys thinking though? I mean, I don't want to get too overhyped from what I've been hearing because I feel like that might ruin the movie, but it's hard not to.
Yeah,
I'm still pretty excited for the movie. The only gripe I have is that they shouldn't be called Cap 3. It should be Marvel Civil War.
Yeah.
But other than that, I'm fully hyped for it. And I look at all the TV spots and clips. It just gets me more excited, just like how I was for BVS. I mean, I'm still hyped for it, regardless of what people are saying.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of people are saying that the airport fight is like 20 minutes long, and it's like the greatest fight scene in like all superhero movies.
Mm-hmm. It's funny because like people were like bashing it, saying like, "Oh, look, it's like 7-on-7. What is this?" But apparently it's amazing, so that's a good thing.
Yeah, so suck on that. But I'm mostly excited because I hate the Civil War comic, and any adaptation can only make it better. Like I was never excited about it. Like I saw it and I was like, okay, that's cool. It's a superhero romp. But I was mostly excited for like Black Panther and actually I was kind of excited for Captain America. I do like him, but in terms of it being the best trilogy, I mean, Cap 1 is only okay in my opinion. So I mean, I would say it's probably on par with the Batman trilogy if we're gonna count the first movie.
I love it, but I like everything.
That's true. Well, I'm just gonna say this. So this is a spoiler for Batman v Superman. I feel like by now everyone's seen it.
You haven't seen it. You don't want to see it.
I just said spoiler, so by now you should be able to click out or skip, across. But Superman dies at the end of the movie, and that was a big twist no one expected. And in the Civil War storyline, it ends with Captain America, getting shot and being quote unquote dead. I haven't seen the movie yet. I've been not trying to read spoilers of how it ends, on purpose, because I don't want it to be spoiled for me. I don't know if he gets shot or not, but I really feel like, because they usually film like multiple endings and they decide on like a final one later, to help keep from like leaks and stuff like that, because you don't know which one will be the actual one. How interesting would it be if the original ending was Cap getting shot and dying, and then after BVS they changed it?
That would be man, they had them contingencies on point and ready based on that reaction. Maybe
because I would love to see that be revealed as just like a bonus scene. You know what I mean? Like not like have any canon to the actual movie. Just to have them release it.
Right. Yeah, maybe. I mean, it wasn't my favorite moment from the comic. Actually, nothing was my favorite moment from the comic, but Cap dying, that would have been interesting. Actually, just killing him just straight up before Infinity War. But yeah,
I feel like it'd be appropriate. because they extended Sebastian Stan's contract before Civil War to like 9 movies,
right?
Which is the largest since Samuel L. Jackson. So
Yeah,
it seems to indicate he's going to take over, like in the comics.
Yeah,
Ooh.
I mean, we also have to consider though, like stuff like that is for security stuff too. So maybe
That's true.
he'll be it. But I mean, like, I don't know. Has anyone seen what Anthony Mackie's contract is? Because if it's long too, I'd say he's probably a good contender to be Cap because
I don't
everyone's
think it's
liking him
that
right
long.
now. I mean, everyone.
I don't think he would be, but yeah, it's a possibility. It's always
Yeah.
options.
Well, see, I don't think they'll give it to him because Kevin Feige's a huge fan of that whole storyline
Baker.
in
Right,
general.
Brubaker.
So
Yeah,
I feel like they would definitely go the whole like Bucky Cap version before they do Falcon Cap.
right.
Because I mean, if you go back to years ago, and I remember years ago, someone asked him, "Would you adapt Civil War?" And Feige was just automatically, or Phage, I can't remember how you're supposed to pronounce his last name. He went full fanboy at this like press conference when they asked him. This is like phase 1 of like this is like when they had like Avengers coming up. That was like the big movie they had. This is before like phase 2 started or anything like that. Before Guardians or anything like that. So he went full fanboy, and I feel like his love for like wanting to do Civil War right, so to speak, or just do the movie in general. I feel like it was so huge. That's also why they're able to kick Ike out, essentially. And if no one knows the backstory about this, so Marvel's run by a very conservative guy, financially conservative guy. He doesn't like he complained at the Iron Man premiere that like they had too much like snacks there for the press, like there's too much money being spent on it. Like he's also a reason why Marvel survived bankruptcy, but yeah, he's just very like he doesn't like spending a lot of money, and because of that, that's why they've had contract issues with certain actors because he'd want to pay them less, but they wouldn't want to get paid less, and that's also a reason why Robert Downey Jr. almost didn't come back for Civil War reportedly. So, because they had to renegotiate his contract to do that, obviously. So they kicked this guy out, like. Disney's CEO, who's obviously the top dog, basically made Kevin Feige and the Marvel films their own entity, and stuff like that.
Marvel Studios.
Marvel Studios is fully independent now of Marvel Entertainment, necessarily, as far as I know. I think they still have some things, but as regards to creative control, it's all Kevin Feige now. And Civil War is the first movie under that kind of new ability, so to speak. So it's interesting to see where they'll go from this. It's gonna be interesting. They also kicked out like their kind of creative circle or something like that. I heard, or their previous committee or something like that.
The pretty much the stuff that was holding like Whedon back. When he was trying to do stuff.
Right.
So maybe we'll start seeing a lot more characters and stuff, or just different ideas being brought up onto the screen. Now that weren't necessarily being allowed to do due to like other future movies, or just no we're gonna do this and not do that, and like, oh, but I want to do this, but no, we're gonna do that. So,
guys, we've had a really good run with Infinity War, but we used up all of our money on those graphics, so there's nothing after Phase 3. Sorry.
Yeah. I honestly still think that, I mean, I know they won't end with Infinity War, but I still think that's I think for a good period of time, I might consider that the end.
Right.
Soft reboot.
Just because, the quote, I guess, The Dark Knight, you live long enough to become the villain or you die the hero. And Marvel can do something that's never been done before, which is die the hero, instead of burn their franchise to the ground and milk as much money as possible. But they're a business, so they're going to do that.
Right.
They're going to crash and burn before they admit defeat.
I think that's why they're going to do the whole passing of the roles, or like passing of the torch is what I'm hoping they're doing. Like, for example, Cap and Bucky, or what if Iron Man's passing down some stuff to someone else, like that little kid that we never saw again for Iron Man 3.
Which I hope we never see again.
I liked him. I like everything.
I'm not the biggest fan of Iron Man 3, though, so there's that.
Oh, yeah. But I like that kid. Even in, like, Jurassic World, I liked him. But, like, what if his passing is technically, like, Peter? Since we know he's going to be in Spider-Man or whatever. Or, like, how are we going to pass on, like, the Hulk or Thor? Like, just passing the torch of certain characters that can be passed down. I like to see that be done.
Well,
and, like, having
Thor,
them die
it's really
off
easy.
or something
Just
like
have someone else wield the hammer. That's a pretty good cop-out for that.
that. Yeah. No Jane Foster.
Yeah, no, yeah. Though I really hope they do just like Beta Ray Bill or Thunderstrike before they
Yeah.
do like Jane Foster Thor. Just because her book hasn't really been all that interesting, to be totally honest. I mean, Thunderstrike really wasn't all that much either. Beta Ray Bill is great, but I doubt they'll give Beta Ray Bill a series, by himself right now.
Beta Ray Bill's never gonna get anything.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of disappointing. I'm a huge Beta Ray Bill fan. I'm a huge fan for like those like secondary characters. If anyone's noticed, like I'm a huge Wally West fan. I'm a huge like Beta Ray Bill fan. I'm a huge like
Tim Drake fan.
So like I like the legacy aspects and like the whole like passing the torch characters usually more than like the original characters.
Mhm.
If anyone's ever noticed that about me. But
yeah, Eric Masterson is a really good Thor.
Yeah. So on that note, that's it for the first episode of, I guess, Flicks and Chill. That's still the working title we have. Comment below if you guys thoughts. Are you guys looking forward to this? Want to see more? Comment below. And also, I mean, I guess I might as well just say this here. If you're still listening, if you're interested in maybe joining, if you are like a film major or just like a movie guy in general, you have a good mic, and obviously a few other things too that we talked to you about, in like an email, send us an email. And yeah, we'll take it from there. So this is Josh.
This is Luke.
This is Tut. Oh my god.
We'll see y'all next time, I guess.
Yo, see you next time.